Cheers and welcome to Bitter Reality Brewing. Yes, we are brewing the most brewed beer on this channel. That's right, the most brewed beer. I've brewed it 3 times on this channel, and last year, I wasn't impressed. It was good, but I wasn't impressed. So this year, we've got a little trick up our sleeve, and we're gonna make some changes, and I'm gonna make it really easy to follow. And don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing, definitely appreciate the support. But we should be able to knock it out of the park this year. So first of all, I took the recipe, which was 6 gallons 2 years ago, where I tested 2 different yeasts, the Irish 004 from White Labs and one of the British yeasts, or English, I don't even remember anymore. Don't care, because I preferred the Irish yeast. It was just hands down the best. It just tasted amazing. But then we did the same thing with the stout and it didn't do as well. So each yeast, to each person, to each brew, it's a personal flavor, personal taste, personal whatever you want to call opinion. But we have our caraway. We'll be toasting caraway seeds. I just thought about it, but I need to double check the quantity. Last time I think it was 0.75 of an ounce, so I need to double check that. And we toast the caraway seeds and we add that in the last 5 minutes. But it just makes all the world of difference because you get that rye, and that's what I'm going for, not just an Irish red ale, an Irish red rye ale. And it's almost like a little bit of rye bread on your tongue, just for a moment, and it dissipates. The key is you don't want it to linger. And it is one of my favorite malty beers to brew that just, yeah. Yeah, I'm a big red ale fan. Red IPAs work too, but hey, yeah, big red ale. And when I do red ales, I like to put a little bit of rye in there. It just, to me, they kind of go together, you know, with a little bit of caramel and toffee and the rye. So it's very nice. Let's go over the grain bill, get that knocked out. And I've also got a little goofiness that I do with the brewing salts on this one. It's something I seem to be doing on the darker beers, and it seems to work for me. And like I said, do what works for you. So I'm gonna list the grain bill. We'll slide over here maybe, put the grain bill over here. It is over 10 pounds. I think, what was it, 10 pounds, 2.4 ounces total grain bill. Not huge, but a decent grain bill for a 5-gallon batch, because we're only doing a 5-gallon batch. But I have 6 pounds, 9 ounces of Maris Otter, my go-to. Definitely my go-to when it comes to a red ale like this or any really malty beers, just really nice. 2 pounds of rye, and I crush everything at 0.035, 0.0375 for some mills, but 0.035 is where I have an indicator. And for the rye, I crush that at 0.025, and yes, I put almost, I think it was about 6 ounces of rice hulls, just to be safe, I kind of went overboard, but just to be safe. So like I said, 2 pounds of rye malt, 10 ounces and a half, so 10.5 ounces of flaked rye. Then we have 8.4 ounces of BlackSwaen, if I'm saying that correct, it's from Label Peelers, but it's honey biscuit malt. You could probably get away with cutting that in half and doing half honey, half biscuit malt, but that honey biscuit malt from Label, it's just a really, really great malt. I love it. Or it's from BlackSwaen if you can find them somewhere else, but Label Peelers I know carries it. 3 ounces of Cara-Pils. Now this was an addition from the 2022 that I did not use because I just felt that the beer was amazing, but just didn't have the head retention I would like. So that's where the Cara-Pils came in. Cara-Pils was not in the original recipes. 2.6 ounces of chocolate rye. And I take that back. It was in last year's recipe and I didn't like it, so I knocked it down a little. And 1.3 ounces of Caraaroma. I know people are like, 1.3, why bother? That's gonna add some more of the color, while really allowing the malt bill to kind of stand out a little bit, subtly, but it's more for color. We have 3 ounces of Southern Cross. Last year I used a different hop because I didn't have any Southern Cross, and it was a good hop. It just didn't go. And this recipe has really been fine-tuned. I've brewed it more than the 3 times you've seen on video, but Southern Cross, for some reason, in that last 5 minutes, just really, really complements the flavors and aroma, and that's where I'm sticking to it. I'm not changing. Same thing with my Irish yeast from White Labs. I did forget to do a yeast starter, but it's okay, it's fresh, and it's like an entire packet, one of those packets I could pitch 2 5-gallon batches. I'm just gonna dump it all in. I'd rather overpitch than underpitch. I don't wanna stress it and create some new off flavor that I didn't have before. You know, it might be a good off flavor, but I don't wanna go for that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm looking at about 75% efficiency, so if I get the efficiency, then great. If I go a little up, then I'm fine too. I am coloring outside the numbers a little bit, but not by much. So The IBUs we're shooting for is about 28 because that Southern Cross is at 12.4%. I believe a couple years ago it was at 13%, but yeah, I'm good. I adjusted it. We're gonna mash in at 150 degrees Fahrenheit. We want a little bit of body, but we also, you know me, I like it dry. So that's what I've done in the previous ones. That's worked out really well. I'm trying to keep everything very standard. The one thing I'm gonna do a little different that I've done differently in the past for this beer is that I got the brewing salts, and I'll list those when I go to dump them in. Actually, we can go right ahead and do that now, but keep in mind, I'm only putting in half the brewing salts, okay? And I know you're probably thinking to me, what the heck, what does it mean half? What does it mean half? Yeah, I'll dip that in a second. I don't wanna burn myself. But the reason I say half is I've held back a tiny, tiny bit of chalk, which I know that thing's gonna fall, a tiny bit of chalk and some baking soda. This is gonna help the malt profile, but it's also going to affect my pH, and I don't really want to impact the pH until after. So I'm gonna add the baking soda with that ever so tiny bit of, I think it's like 0.1 or 0.2 grams or something like that. What was it? 0.2 grams of chalk and 1.6 grams of baking soda. I'm gonna add that to the boil because I want to have that malt profile stand out, but I don't want to impact the pH during the mash. I've seen this from pro brewers in the past. I don't think the majority do this, but it works for me. And like I said, do what works for you. That works for me. So we're gonna go ahead, get mashed in. There's no reason to wait. I'm holding back, like I said, on that part of the brewing salts, and I'll dip that glass when I can see inside so I don't burn myself. Okay, a couple things I wanna make sure everybody understands. This is the newer system. So the false bottom, it's right here. We want the little coin side up, the little divot side down. So I'm gonna go ahead, put that in there. And when you put that in there, you wanna go all the way to the bottom so that it snaps in place. Okay, mine just popped in place. I'm gonna move some of this out of my way because I don't wanna make a mess. Although I'm pretty good at making messes. Small batch adapter, that's correct, that's what I'm using. Gotta look down here and figure out where the heck I can put it again. There it is. Tuck that in. Okay, small batch adapter's in there. That's been stirred up. Looks like some of the brewing salts have settled. Drives me nuts. Another good stir. I have found if you turn on your recirculation for a little bit when you put your brewing salts in, they seem to blend up a little bit better, which I didn't do. Okay? And yep, I made my mess. Put my feet to the back. Okay, we're having all kinds of problems with this camera in my way. Nice and slow. There we go. Other thing I didn't mention, we're gonna be using the Anvil XP pump. In case you haven't seen that video, check it out. And let's get mashed in. That may have hurt my efficiency by a tiny bit. Okay, and as usual, we're gonna speed this up, okay? Okay, we're gonna let that sit for about 9 minutes since I only took about a minute to get mashed in. I'm gonna get the brew pump set up, get it connected, and once everything's settled, I'm gonna start the recirculation. We're gonna be sitting at 150 degrees. I need to lower the power because I'm probably spiking a little bit, and I'll get the power down around 60, 65%. And we'll be here for 75 minutes. Then we're gonna go up to, ramp it up to 168 for the mash out for 10 minutes. I have a 1 gallon sparge. I am not gonna use the steam condenser for 2 reasons. One, I don't think it uses very much water, but the wife's told me slow the water usage down a little bit. So when we do the chilling, I will be doing some recirculations or some pump and some ice packs. Number 2 is I wanted to keep my water to grain ratio up there. And if I use the steam condenser, I would have to lower that a little bit. It shouldn't affect my efficiencies, but it could. And just trying to minimize my changes based on when I brewed it the last time that it was amazing in 2022. 2023 was good, but compared to 2022, yeah, it was just the bomb. So we're going for the bomb again, you know what I mean? So let me get this going. Let me get it all set up. Okay, I dropped it to 65. It's going down. It'll take a minute. And there's the little trickle, as we say, or tinkle. And that's it. We'll be here for 75 minutes and we'll rock on. Okay, we finished sparging, it finished dripping, it finished. I'm kicking it up to a boil. It's probably a little over 170 right now. I've got my mash paddle. Yeah, beautiful mash paddle. And I'm brewing with rye. So I'm rubbing this bottom. Why am I rubbing the bottom? Because rye, it can settle and you can get that kind of silt on the bottom, which can cause one of those errors on a system to prevent overheating or scorching. So I'm just rubbing the bottom to make sure we're good. And I think we're good. I didn't feel anything on the bottom, so that's good. And usually, if you get a nice mash paddle and you're starting to rub that bottom, you can feel if it starts to kind of, you know, fight a little bit, you can tell that you're rubbing and you're kind of clearing the path so that you don't have kind of like a scum of malt goop sitting on top of the burner. Yeah. So, yeah, mine feels super smooth, very clean. I'm good. There we go. And whoa, yep. Once we get up to a boil, we'll be here for 90 minutes. Technically, oh, hey, you know what? Remember I had more brewing salts. I almost forgot. This is the baking soda and a tiny, tiny bit of chalk. And we'll stir that up. Allow those malt flavors to really stand out, really beautiful. And that's it. Once we get up to a boil, like I said, we'll be there for technically 85 minutes, and that's where I got some additions. And 10 minutes before those 5-minute additions, I gotta start toasting some caraway seeds. Yeah. Okay, we're at a nice boil, as you can see. And it's trying to break. I'm gonna give it a little bit more stirring and see how it goes. Stir it up a bit more. There you go. Starting to break. Won't have much to worry about. Other than the camera fogging up. Okay, so I've technically got 17 more minutes on the boil. I'm calling it because I'm very close to where I need to be on my boil off. I might have even had a little bit extra by the time it cools down. So we're gonna go ahead and call it the 5 minutes. First, we're gonna drop in a full teaspoon worth of yeast nutrient, World Flock tablet. There we go. Set this out of the way because I forgot where I put the lid and I don't want to end up with a problem. I've decided, even though, you know, I'll see a picture, the toasted caraway, I've gone 50-50. I want half not toasted, half toasted. So there we go. We're gonna drop this in the bag because the last thing we want is caraway seed in a pump. That would be really bad. And I don't want to keep the caraway seed in contact with the beer for an excessively long period of time. Just want to get the flavor in there, and that's why I'm checking my time right now. So there we go. Now we've got to add the 3 ounces of Southern Cross. Just smells kind of, I don't know. It's got a hint of like little pine, little maybe lemon or citrus, and just a very fresh smell. Definitely it's got some grassy, some green going on, a little like Centennial. I wonder if it's a Centennial hybrid. I don't think Southern Cross is. I don't remember seeing that. So, because a lot of times your New Zealand hops are crosses from different hops that are now growing down there that may have grown somewhere else before they went to New Zealand. I'm gonna go ahead, stir that up to get a little bit more contact with the hops. And we've got 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna drop the Jaded Scylla, get it chilling, and we'll move it to the fermenter. I already took the yeast out so it can get up to room temp since I'm pitching straight yeast, and I'm not gonna do a yeast starter. So, rock and roll. Okay, you ever need more hands than you have? I'll figure this out. Okay, here we go. Let's kill the boil, and I'm gonna drop this in there right away so we kill anything that could be on it. Power off. Hey! Dropping things, making all kinds of good life choices. Okay. Drop this in here. Get the caraway seeds out of here. Can put that over with the hops that I gotta drain. And what I call lazy man's agitation. You can call it poor man, but it's really lazy because I'm being lazy, not manually doing it because I got other things to do. So, oh shoot, and then we're spilling wort. Never a good thing.
out of 10.
I mentioned I need more hands. There we go. That's just about perfect. All this brewing equipment, and I still have lots of kettles. Yeah, lots of kettles. Yay! Okay, we're gonna let this chill down. Yes, you can hear I'm dealing with allergies. They've been killing me for weeks. And once this gets chilled down, I'll move it to a fermenter. I guess I should clean a fermenter. They're clean. I just need to rinse them with some Star Sand. I always do that just before I use them. And we'll pitch the yeast and rock on. We'll pull some gravities, things like that. Important things. Okay, I want to show you this on camera. Technically, I'm at 84.1% brew house efficiency. Yeah, I question it a little bit, but it's nice and high. I'm all good. I knew it was going to be close to 80%, even though I estimated at 75, and I knew I should kick it up to 80. I'm dropping a quarter gallon in here because I'm sitting just at around 5 gallons, and I should have had 5 1/4. That will actually put me right at the 84.1, which is where it should be. It was even higher than that, but it was because I had less liquid than what I expected. So it really wasn't that high. It was the liquid. So I've adjusted it there. This yeast is, I'm gonna say room temp. And like I said, it's Irish Ale, White Labs 004, my go-to for Irish red ales, not my go-to for stouts. Yeah, you'll have to watch those videos. Just, you know, look up stout and you'll find it on my channel, of course. I did put a little bit of Clarity Firm in here because I've always put Clarity Firm in here since I've been brewing this beer, pretty sure. And yeah, and I can't even remember what the temperature is. I think we're gonna be fermenting at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll have to double check. This says it's good till March 7th. I'm wondering what the age is on these things when you first get them. Like, you know, when White Labs ships it, how much time do you have? I bought this third party, not direct from White Labs. So definitely not a White Labs fault, but I'm wondering how long they had it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we've definitely got some milkiness in here. It's another little trick. This is my distilled or deionized water, is that normally I'll do this afterwards, but I kind of think it needs a little bit more liquid, like thin liquid. Okay. One thing I learned at White Labs is you don't want to like pound the living crap out of this. I don't know if you can actually kill the yeast that easy or not, but they seem to get upset when you shook it too hard. So it's just something to be aware of. Got a nice, kind of like California 001 with a hint of citrus. Yeah, I need to still put my tilt hydrometer in here. Last tilt hydrometer I used, the battery was almost dead, and I was happy I checked it because it stopped working while I was checking it. And I realized it was an original battery, like 3 years old. So I replaced the battery, and you know what? It worked just fine. So I have lots of spare batteries just for pretty much everything. I live in Florida. We don't count on electricity 5 minutes after we had it. You know what I mean? It could go out at any moment. So there we go. I'm going to get a tilt hydrometer in here. We're sitting at 1.0. I believe it was 1.061. It should be 1.058 right now, which put us up around the 6%ers or 5.8. I can't remember. I have to check. Originally, I was looking for 5.2. I think it'll put us up at 5.8%. Assuming that we ferment down where it's expecting. If it ferments a little drier, then it's going to be a little bit higher, and, you know, give or take. Not a big deal. But yeah, had a great brew day. I'd love to tell you I'm tired and it's been an exhausting thing, but I'm getting old. Everything's tired and exhausting. Don't forget, like, subscribe, keep sharing. I definitely appreciate it. If you have any questions, ask them down below, and I'll see you on Taste Test Day. Yeah.